The girls, they are meeting up with each other kind of one-on-one a little bit this episode. A lot of one-on-ones. First, we have the one-on-one meeting between Wendy and Monique, and it's a really good segment. It's probably my favorite section of this episode. And in the episode, they're discussing some of the things that was the breakdown of her friendship with Wendy and that incident. And Wendy was basically like, you beat up my friend, and I took a side. I stood with my friend, so of course I'm not going to be that favorable towards you. And they kind of hashed out their stuff. And then she also told Wendy about a friend, this woman named Cookie, who ends up being a big part of the episode later. And she basically says this woman, she met her, Karen met her through me. She always has something bad to say about me. If she's speaking about me negatively, I wouldn't believe anything that comes out of her mouth, because this woman has a fixation on speaking bad on my name. So they just hash it out and talk and revamp where they are. And like I said, I don't think because they had like too much in common before, or had bad blood before, for them to be kind of feeling any type of way towards one another. I think they're kind of impartial towards one another. So I think it started off pretty well between Wendy and Monique. So that's where the episode began. The first scene begins at the Pride event. It's when Kiana comes with her little snarky remarks towards Stacy, and basically like, she knows Chris Samuels, to Monique. And Monique does not care. And then after that, they all do a one-on-one where Monique kind of spills her heart out to the group. It basically tells Giselle, you were right in France when you said that once I start getting a little light, he's going to start hating on me and things like that. And she also told the girls that she wasn't attracted to, or I say that she wasn't attracted to him. That's my opinion, because I watched her on Love and Marriage DC. All she did was complain about his weight. She just wasn't really physically attracted. She was like actually disgusted by him. So my personal opinion is he gained a lot of weight. She stopped being attracted to him. The money just didn't fixate that, like, that attraction. She didn't want him, and she didn't know how to say she didn't want him, because he was providing her with such a good lifestyle. So she was willing to stay until she wasn't. And I think part of that is that her light started shining so bright, which is what Giselle told her. Once you start shining, he's going to not want you anymore. But I don't really think it was that, in my personal opinion. I think her light started shining bright. She didn't want him anymore. She just couldn't tolerate it anymore. I think she had tolerated it as long as she could, once she realized that being on Potomac, being on these reality TV shows, being on Love and Marriage DC afforded her the lifestyle and the monetary lifestyle that she was able to provide for herself. She was ready to jump ship, because I really don't think she was ever really truly attracted to Chris, which is what his mama said back in Potomac a long time ago. So mamas be right. Just like Todd and Candy. So neither here nor there. The next scene after that is Wendy's meeting with Monique. They all, this episode, kind of do a one-on-one with one another. And then shortly after that scene between Wendy and Monique, ironically, we get a scene with KK, and I forget who she's talking to, but she's talking to some of the other girls. She's talking about how Cookie, and I think Giselle and Ashley, she's talking about how Cookie, who's the girl Monique was just talking about, called her and said that Stacy told her everything that Monique had told them at that dinner. And what I didn't mention about at the dinner is Monique also said that she rolled over one night after making love with him and said, you'll never enter me again, because she said that he would be really, really nice to her, and then when he got what he wanted from her, he started being mean to her again. So she tested the theory, and of course she gave him a little bit, and then he started being right back mean to her right after he got it. So that little piece of information was relayed to Chris, and basically relayed to him as though Monique felt like a piece of meat in the marriage. So somebody, Kiana, that somebody told Chris this information. Chris was really upset and pissed about that information. So this is the catalyst of these next coming scenes. Really, it's the catalyst of the remainder of the show, if you ask me. It's the catalyst of the rest of the season, it sounds like. Or at least these next 2 to 3 episodes. Next up, we have Stacy. She finally decides to bring Timo around these girls, but she only picked one. She picked Tia. And I think she picked Tia because she felt like Tia was the neutral party. Little did we know, Tia is like a super duper op. I didn't know she was that much op until this particular scene. I thought she picked Tia because she was like friendly to her and unbiased, and she didn't really have any drama with her that Tiamo could probably say, didn't you have a problem with that girl last season? This was a non-problematic girl, so we thought. She created a big problem out of this. She started giving Timo the third degree, invited him out to dinner and Giselle's party, and as you could just tell, she was filled with all these batteries were put in her back by the girls before she got there. They were probably like, ask him this, make sure you ask him this. Da, 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 da. That's kind of how it came off. It was like very off-putting. And then later on, she ended up inviting Wendy to dinner and saying that because during this meetup, he was like, why did you invite me to meet your husband, Stacy? And she was like, I don't really trust the girls like that. I don't trust the group. Tia took that information and basically said to Wendy, she don't trust you, girl. She said she trusts me the most. That's not really what Stacy was saying. She was like, you see how these girls is ganging up on me. But the thing is, Tia has been wanting to side with Giselle about Stacy since they died. So this gave her the final reason to finally say, I see what you see, girl. She could be in with the crowd, with the mean girls, and have a reason to be really upset with Stacy. That's all. She just wanted to be with the other girls. It was really very mean girly and childish. I just felt like Tia in that moment, she ruined like what could have been a really sweet moment. You got her daughter there, her child there, and she doesn't want that drama, and you came to be Inspector Gadget instead of being just a genuine person and a mom in that moment. You could have just made it about the child, got to observe their dynamic, observe and report instead of trying to be Inspector Gadget. You came off more like Borat. So this leads to this big misunderstanding moment of Stacy and Tia going back and forth. Tia essentially calling Stacy a liar because her husband said she had a flight. She couldn't make it to the dinner, or he couldn't make it to the events. Stacy kind of backed her husband. And because she backed her husband, it made her seem like a liar because come to find out he wasn't on a flight, or the flight was a different day or whatever. He did take a flight apparently, but it wasn't on the date he said he was. And Tia was basically like, you're a liar, Stacy. This is confirming you're a liar. But it's like, what's she going to do? Call her husband a liar in front of you instead of backing her husband? A lot of married couples do that when they say, oh, I can't come because my husband has an event. I can't come. I have to go with my husband. Couples do that. Like, I don't understand why Tia made that such a big deal. So the next scene is KK. Of course, Kay has to jump in and give her 2 cents of the situation, which it seems so unnecessary to me, but whatever. She jumps in. She basically is calling Stacy a liar. She brings Cookie over to confirm that Stacy's a liar. Oh, wow. Stacy's saying, I'm not a liar. I didn't tell Chris any of Monique's business. She's like, yes, you did. Now, after that, Wendy jumps in and tells the girls, like, calm down. This really isn't about Stacy. And if it is, it's more about Monique and Stacy. So let those girls hash it out instead of, like, spilling all Monique's tea. Because according to Monique, whenever this girl Cookie is in the mix, it's usually a bunch of lies because she has nothing good to say about Monique. So she kind of stalls the situation right there. And that's where the episode ends. Bravo wouldn't be Bravo without giving us a cliffhanger. So we'll find out next week when Stacy basically says, you don't have a husband. When Kay says, I would never let my husband be around you. That all pans out, and we'll see where they are from there. But if you enjoyed today's recap, please don't forget to hit the follow button if you're watching here on TikTok. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. It's your girl Nico Nicole, and this is Give This Girl a Mic. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye bye.